Hi, I'm Millicent Miller. I work with organizations to help eliminate health disparities through strategic planning, partnerships, training, and capacity building. Recently, I had a chance to meet with some true change agents in New York's aging services field. We've documented what we've learned in this three-part series called Community Engagement in Area Agencies on Aging. This is part three of the series. In Suffolk County, officials work with Sage Long Island and the LGBT Network in meeting the unique needs of LGBTQ older adults. LGBTQ older adults are twice as likely as their peers to live alone. Many experience social isolation. This population is also less likely to access many services for the aging, including senior centers, meal programs, and other supports. Through her work with the LGBT Network, Holly Rhodes Teague and her team have combined their expertise in serving older adults with the network's specialized services. David Kilmnick is the network CEO, an advocate for LGBTQ older adults at the state, local, and national level.
Everyone is on the table, right? And I think we limit ourselves now. And that way maybe people in certain areas of New York may say, oh my God, my elected officials, they don't support this. They can. You need to go and talk with them. You need to go and talk with them and that, talk about the needs of your elders and seniors. What have they told you? What are they saying? Bring them with you. Because this is not a political issue. It shouldn't be a political issue. This is a human issue.
So I'm Holly Rhodes Teague. I'm the director of the Suffolk County Office for the Aging, and I've been here 25 years in this position. Our connection to the new site is to try to connect the LGBT network to some of the other organizations that are out there in the communities. Some of them have programs that they don't normally run here themselves, so they would try to put it in. I'm trying to put in a nutrition program potentially, the chronic disease self-management programs. As the residents find things they want, we'll try to connect them to the services that are out there. This LGBTQ friendly housing gives them the opportunity to stay near relatives if they have them here still, and stay near their friends that they've known for a long time. They have their own apartments, they're comfortable, there's a lot of places to go, and they can, they're still part of the network on Long Island and their friends and family. Well, David always likes to say we met on a buffet line, which I'm not going to lie, that's true. That did happen that way. We met back 2004, I think it was, and we introduced ourselves while we were, standing there. And I have a great interest in the LGBTQ community. He was working with LGBTQ youth, the Office for Aging, so we were like, we need to figure out a way to partner together. And I think at the time you were going to start some focus groups to see what services might be needed for the older adult.
The next question I have is related to support. I know both of you are leaders within your organization, and I know that leadership is very critical. And so how do you as leaders support your staff in ensuring that they're effectively engaging members of the community to reach the goals that you have, the services that you provide?
We initially provided training to our staff so that they were sensitive to the needs of LGBTQ population. We've done it a couple times, so our staff has been trained. And that I think is critically important because my caseworkers are out in the field. They don't know who they're going to run into when they're out with new clients. So I think it's very, very important that they are sensitive to the special needs of the LGBT community and for every community. So the skills that they learn in terms of doing interviewing, that could be used anywhere for any population. So I think that is critically important. You have to make sure that they have the tools in the toolkit, right, to do what they have to do. And then also, we've provided David's staff with information on what we do. And our advocates here to assist if they, once a month if there are people who want to talk to us specifically. And that's important for people who may not want everyone to know their financial business. They want to keep some stuff to themselves, but they'll talk to an advocate about, I'm having some trouble with maybe food, meeting my nutritional needs. Well, we can help you access SNAP. So there are things that we do pretty well that his staff might not know as much about, and his staff definitely has been able to provide training for us. So I think it's been a great relationship in that sense as well.
We'll have what we call Mingles, right? There's a Monday mingle, there's a Wednesday mingle, and a Thursday mingle. I guess we're not that creative with it. And so, and that mingle is for seniors to, like in any other senior center, is to get together, they sit around, and food is going to be important, so so there's some food, and then there's that camaraderie, and many times if there isn't an additional program attached to that, the seniors will go out for more food.
They also do outings.
They do outings. We do Long Island Sage outings, where we'll go to arboretums, different parks, and really take in all that Long Island has to offer, and there's a lot that it has to offer.
So I had an advocate start going to his social events that they were doing for the older adult, and from there, you created more programs.
Yeah, I mean, it really was an instant connection.
It was.
Immediately I felt the connection and the passion for serving LGBT elder adults, and that's so important because not everybody has that. It was more than a program. It was a connection, and it just showed you don't have to be LGBT to have that connection either. You just have to care and have that compassion.
Because back in the day, like if you marched in the parade in 1975, you were marching, you wanted just recognition that we're here. You didn't realize that you were doing a cultural change at the same time. Like back in the day, you went to a bar, it was a gay bar, it was just more or less gay. Now it seems like the new generation, they're all together. They don't need a specifically gay bar or gay this, it's more accepted and just like a community. I had no friends, so I have friends now that going on the Zoom, and so learning more technology with Zoom, and then learning about and meeting people not all just over Long Island, but all over the state and even the world. We've been doing like social events as a group. So like we went to Old Westbury Garden, we went to Planting Field or another like garden. We had a picnic last Friday. So socialization, avoiding depression, because I was definitely feeling useless and why bother type of thing. And this is like, okay, yeah. Go out on Monday, you have something to do.
Over the course of this 3-part series, we've heard from 3 organization leaders and their community partners who have made concerted efforts to serve the unique needs of specific populations. As you seek to engage members of the populations highlighted here and others within your community, here are some key things to keep in mind. First, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Programs and services can and should adapt to the specific needs, customs, and practices of a community. Engagement is a two-way dialogue. This can be achieved by working with and listening to trusted authorities or representatives of the community. Remember, we all have a lot to learn from one another. Additionally, it is important to speak the same language. This can be in a literal sense, like employing multilingual case managers and interpreters, or it can mean implementing cultural competency and sensitivity training across organizations to bridge roles, resources, approaches, and missions. Remember, you don't have to come from a particular community or background to make a productive connection. Our three examples show that intentional dialogue can arise regardless of the shared experience or personal history within a particular demographic group. Lastly, true community engagement does not happen overnight. It needs to be nurtured and sustained. Direct participation, visibility, and common understanding equal trust. Remember, while decisions and outcomes are not one size fits all, methods used to engage diverse communities can and will be transferable across demographic groups. I'm Millicent Miller, and thanks for watching.